In this video, I'm going to teach you how to deploy a specific interval of time for your manifestations to come into your life. Because a lot of people, when they create something, they don't put an interval of time on it. They don't want to limit themselves, but yet they are limited by their own consciousness and their own beliefs. So when they don't see it come into their life right away, they start to waver and they start to think that, oh, this doesn't work or it's not coming. So in this video, I'm gonna break down how to manifest something at a specific time. And this is from Neville Goddard's Your Faith is Your Fortune. This is chapter 15, and Neville Goddard covers a Bible verse here that is relevant to what we're gonna go over with this interval of time, that way we can start manifesting on specific days, specific months, specific weeks or years, or whatever you wanna create and what time you want that manifestation to actually come to you. So we will begin with these Bible verses that are relevant to this exercise on creating an interval of time. So, let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. That's John 14, verse 1 through 3. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. The me in whom you must believe is your consciousness. The I am, it is God. It is also the Father's house, containing within itself all conceivable states of consciousness. Every conditioned state of consciousness is called a mansion. This conversation takes place within yourself. Your I am, the unconditioned consciousness, is the Christ Jesus speaks to the conditioned self, or the John Smith consciousness. I am John, from a mystical point of view, is two beings, namely Christ and Jesus. So the separation. So I go to prepare a place for you, moving from your present state of consciousness into that state desired. So it is a promise by your Christ or awareness of being to your present conception of yourself that you will leave your present consciousness and appropriate another. So man is such a slave to time that if after he has appropriated a state of consciousness, which is not now seen by the world, and the appropriated state, does not immediately embody itself, he loses faith in his unseen claim. So what Neville Goddard is saying here is a lot of people will create something in their imagination. They will assume something within their consciousness, and if it doesn't happen right away, they automatically just go back to their former static state of being, which is not having a thing. Like, they'll appropriate it just for a short amount of time, and if they don't see it come into their lives immediately, then they just give up on it altogether. Okay, so because of this limitation of man, I have found it very helpful to employ a specified interval of time in making this journey into a prepared mansion. Okay, so this is where Neville Goddard's going to go over how to create a specific interval of time for something to come into your life. Okay, so we have all cataloged the different days of the week, months of the year, and seasons. By this, I mean, you and I have said time and time again, why does today feel like Sunday or Monday or Saturday? We have also said in the middle of summer, why this feels and looks like the fall of the year. What Neville Goddard is saying here is that we all have specific feelings for specific times of the year, like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, different things like summertime, springtime, winter. You have different feeling states that are associated with those specific times of the year. So you can start creating your imaginal acts at specific times and then create that feeling. Like, for example, like Christmas time. Like you're in that state of the holiday season where you see Christmas lights, you have Christmas trees, you have that overwhelming feeling that it's now Christmas, and then you create an imaginal act that's associated with that specific time of the year. So you get it at that specific time of the year. It's like now it's February. So if I were to imagine something happening to me in Christmas, I would make it Christmas. I would make Christmas now in February, and then I would make it real. I would see the Christmas lights. I would would go through this in my imaginal act of it now being Christmas and make it now. So that would impress the subconscious mind with my imaginal act coming true or coming into fruition in Christmas. So I have that interval of time to wait till it happens, but I know that it's going to happen in December. It's absolutely going to happen. And then Neville Goddard goes on here. He says, this is positive proof that you and I have definite feelings associated with these different days, months, and seasons of the year. Because of this association, we can at any time consciously dwell in that day or season which we have selected. Do not selfishly define this interval in days and hours because you are anxious to receive it, but rather simply remain in the conviction that it is done. Time, being purely relative, should be eliminated entirely, and your desire will be fulfilled. This ability to dwell at any point in time permits us to deploy time in our travel into the desired mansion. Now I, which is consciousness, go to a point in time and there prepare a place. If I go to such a point in time and prepare a place, I shall return to this point in time where I have left, and I shall pick up and take you with me into that place which I have prepared, that where I am, there ye may be also. Let me give you an example of this travel. Suppose for a second you had an intense desire. Like most men who are enslaved by time, you might feel that you could not possibly realize so large a desire in a limited interval. But admitting that all things are possible to God, believing God to be the me within you or your consciousness of being, you can say, as John, I can do nothing. But since all things are possible to God, and God I know to be my own consciousness of being, I can realize my desire in a little while. So essentially, most people are enslaved by time because that's the way that you were raised. There's always an interval of time that needs to take place in its natural order in order for you to receive something. This is a very deep-seated belief. But once you understand that you can do anything through Christ and that anything is possible to God and that your consciousness of being actually is God, then this can help with the intervals of time and the natural sequence of events that need to take place in order for you to receive a manifestation. But until you can get that, overcome those beliefs, which can be done, but they do take some time to actually really start making those changes through deep meditation and having visions and running your own experiments, like creating things with your imagination. Like I did this a lot of times, where I would create something intentional, like something really unorthodox that nothing could really explain how it happened other than my own imagination. And if you do experiments like these types of things, they can help you with overcome these barriers and beliefs with these intervals of time. Once you know that you are connected to God and that you can, and your imagination actually really does create. So it takes you to that another level once you start really experimenting with these things. So with this belief firmly established, decide what would be a relative rational interval of time in which such a desire could be realized. So you have to go off based, like you go into meditation and you just go into your belief systems. Like, how long do you really believe that this should take, for you to make $100 million? Like, would you be able to believe that this could happen tomorrow to you? Like your deep-seated beliefs. So you really need to know this, and this is what Neville Goddard is talking about here. So with this belief firmly established, decide what would be a relative, rational interval of time in which your desire could be realized, like a natural state. What would it take for you to believe that this can happen? And you can find these. You can go into meditations and just go into your belief systems and really like see if you can feel that this could happen within a few hours, a few days, a few months, a few years. How long would this need to happen with your current belief systems? Then kind of go off of that when you create something. Like if you were to create something like next month, like $100 million, can you really believe that? Is that something that you can really create and believe that to be true? Like deep-seated beliefs that can actually happen to you. Because if you create something so big and it's supposed to happen tomorrow, you may have all these different limitations. So these different limitations based on all of your beliefs and everything you were taught as you were being raised and everything that you believe to be true and consent to be true in your world. And that could automatically just throw you off completely. And then it doesn't happen. And then your confidence level goes down and things like that. And Neville Goddard gets into that confidence right here, which is really good. So time is ever conditioned by man's conception of himself, which is exactly true. So confidence in yourself as determined by conditioned consciousness always shortens the interval of time. So the more confidence you have in yourself, the shorter of interval of time that it's going to take for you to believe that something can happen, like your abilities to be able to do something. So, and he goes into that right here. So if you were accustomed to great accomplishments, like your story, like your past, have you created large things? Like, have you created, have great accomplishments in your past, in short amount of times? Would you give yourself a much shorter interval of time in which to accomplish your desire than the man schooled in defeat? Okay, so, but if you've had tons of failures, everything you've tried to do in your past that you can remember, you've always failed doing it. And now you're trying to create something bigger than ever. I mean, a lot of times what Neville Goddard is saying here is that confidence in yourself, as determined by conditioned consciousness, always shortens the interval of time. So be very careful of what you're creating and make it a rational interval of time based on what you consent to be true in your world. So Neville Goddard goes on even further here. So if today were Wednesday and you decided that it would be quite possible for your desire to embody a new realization of yourself by Sunday, then Sunday becomes the point in time that you would visit. So this is where we go back to creating your imaginal act with a specific interval of time. So if today were Wednesday and you decided that it would be quite possible for your desire you decided based on your beliefs, based on your confidence levels and what your abilities are, it can be quite possible for that desire to embody itself by Sunday. Then Sunday becomes the point of time that you would visit. So then you would create that feeling that it's now Sunday, even though it's actually Wednesday. So in your imaginal act, you go to Sunday. So then it feels like the weekend. Sunday does have, like a connection with a certain feeling state. Like you have certain sensations when it's Sunday and when it's Wednesday. So there's a big difference between that. So capture that feeling that it is now the weekend, it's Sunday. You have that feeling now. So create that new feeling, then take Sunday to Wednesday, which is now. So create that now, and then this new idea or this new, realization or new manifestation that you want to come into your life, include that in your imaginal act for that Sunday. And Neville Goddard explains it right here. So to make this visit, you shut out Wednesday and let in Sunday. This is accomplished by simply feeling that it is Sunday. Begin to hear the church bells. Begin to feel the quietness of the day and all that Sunday means to you. Actually feel that it is Sunday now. So you're making Sunday Wednesday. And all of the feelings that are associated with that, create that. So you really, really are capturing that feeling that it is now Sunday, but it's actually Wednesday. So when this is accomplished, feel the joy of having received that which on Wednesday was but a desire, but feel the complete thrill or relief of having received it and then return to Wednesday, the point in which time you left behind you. And in doing this, you created a vacuum in consciousness by moving from Wednesday to Sunday. Nature, abhorring vacuums, rushes in to fill it, thereby fashioning a mold in the likeness of that which you potentially create, namely, the joy of having realized your defined desire. As you return to Wednesday, you will be filled with a joyful expectancy. All right, so when you come back from your imaginal act, from going into Sunday and making that real, that feeling and the sensations of Sunday, having the thing desired on Sunday, when you come back and return to Wednesday, you will be filled with a joyful expectancy that this is actually 100% going to come to you on Sunday, because you have established the consciousness of that which must take place the following Sunday. And as you walk through the interval of Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, nothing is going to disturb you, regardless of conditions, because you predetermined that which you would be on the Sabbath or Sunday, and that remains an unalterable conviction. Okay, so it doesn't matter what happens. Like if you were to create getting a brand new car on Sunday, but on Thursday and Friday, something happens to where it doesn't even, everything's going against it. Everything looks like it's completely against you getting this brand new car or whatever, relationship, or, a brand new job or career. You are not fazed by whatever happens Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You are in the conviction and with the faith, because you have predetermined that which you would be on the Sunday. And that remains an unalterable conviction within you. And that is the key to using the law of assumption. So things are going to change. It doesn't matter what happens. You have to stay 100% convicted that this is actually going to happen on Sunday. So having gone before that and prepared the place, you have returned to John and now are now taking him with you through the interval of the 3 days into the prepared place, that he might share your joy with you. For where I am, there ye may be also. All right, so that's the end of the chapter, but I'm going to give you a quick breakdown here. Basically, Neville is saying you must determine where you are in consciousness and your belief systems, your confidence level. What can you believe that you can create in a few days, or a few months, depending on what you're trying to create. So you need to understand that completely within yourself, based on your belief systems, your confidence, what your abilities are, what your accomplishments are, what your past looks like. Maybe you can even revise some things in the past to make yourself more, confident now, and have more accomplishments already under your belt when you're doing this. So basically what he's saying is, start small relative to what your beliefs are. So when you start manifesting something for 3 days from now, make it something that you are confident that's going to happen. So you're not going to be disturbed by anything that happens in the days prior to that. So you want to break that down with your beliefs, your confidence levels, and then manifest something to happen on a specific day. And then when you manifest that something on a specific day, you're going to capture that feeling of that day, because there's a very, very closely linked association with feeling states as it relates to what day of the week it is, or what month of the year, or what season of the year. So capture that feeling of the season, the month, or the day as you're going into your imaginal act. That way you make it really real. And then you kind of create this landmark in the future, and you predetermine your manifestation that's absolutely going to happen to you in the future based on your confidence levels, your accomplishments, what you believe, and what you can consent to be true in your world. So you manifest that way. All right, guys, I love you. Don't forget to be one thing you guys are grateful for, or any future content you'd like me to cover. Put that in the column box below, and I will see you guys in the next one.